Okay, let's talk about this next thing here. This is a big one. I haven't seen too many people talking about this, but this is a massive thing that's happening here. And you know what? I don't love Coinbase. In fact, very much the opposite. I think that if you have a Coinbase account, you should close that and start buying Bitcoin somewhere else. But a lot of people use Coinbase. And so this says Coinbase now allows users to purchase cryptocurrency with Apple Pay. I mean, that's kind of the thing. We have a perfect storm right now of things happening between the Middle East, between the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, between companies like MicroStrategy, Marathon, other public companies. I think there was about 10 or 15 in the last week who announced that they're adding Bitcoin to their treasury. But then you have retail. And I think that the one thing for retail that's going to make a big difference here is the friction. If you can find a way to eliminate the friction for people learning how to buy Bitcoin and hold it themselves, that's a big thing. So I'll give you an example. When I started buying Bitcoin for the first time back in whenever it was, 2019, 2020, on Binance, I pretty much had to pay $500 just to learn how to do this. And maybe I didn't need to, but I did. Paid $500 US to learn how to buy, send, hold, stake. Wasn't staking Bitcoin, but I was staking other things at the time. But that's a huge hurdle for people. There is opportunity when there's hurdles, but at the same time, this next wave of retail adoption is going to want zero friction. And so at the time, I had to log into Binance. I had to find somebody who's willing to sell USDT Tether. I had to send them an e-transfer. I wasn't sending it to Binance. I was sending it to this random person online. I had to send them an e-transfer. And when they received that, they sent me USDT in exchange. And with that USDT, I could swap it into Bitcoin. And then I had to figure out what to do with it from there. I had to either leave it on Binance or I had to send it to my wallet, which is the same kind of thing now. But at the time, they were very non-transparent with their fees. And I paid so much stupidly with a whole bunch of UTXOs, paid a bunch of fees, had no idea what I was doing. But now, Coinbase now allows users to purchase cryptocurrency with Apple Pay. Think about that. That's 4 years difference. How much easier that is for somebody to log into Coinbase, use their Apple Pay, which everybody has set up on their phone already. You click buy and you store it in Coinbase. That's zero friction. That's like buying a new pair of shoes online. You don't even easier than that because you don't have to put in a shipping address. Ideally, you move it off Coinbase, but even so, there's going to be a lot of people who just get a Coinbase account, use Apple Pay, buy some Bitcoin, store it on Coinbase. And for the most part, unless something crazy happens to Coinbase, that Bitcoin is going to be there. Zero friction. So that's a big part of, this next wave of adoption is just reducing the friction. So that's one of many things I think that it's just going to become more and more popular for things like Apple Pay, things like PayPal, things like, I don't know, what's the other one in the States? Venmo. And that'll eventually just evolve into you have this app on your phone and you have your stable coins, you have your Bitcoin, you have your XRP. Just kidding. Apple shares, MicroStrategy shares, Microsoft shares, maybe a portion of an investment fund that you're in El Salvador, your shares in that, maybe a fractionalization of a hotel chain in Dubai. You have that on there. You can swap back and forth and sell it. Everything's tokenized. That's where we're moving to. And you're going to be able to, you go to pay for something. So, just think about this. Let's say that Bitcoin's running up, you cash them out, maybe you buy more shares in that building in Dubai. Maybe that's running up, you cash some of that out, you buy some Bitcoin instead. You're going to be able to atomically swap all of these different tokens. And then when you actually go to buy something, you'll probably either swap it into Lightning, where you can pay the retailer, or you'll swap it into stable coins, where you can pay the retailer. So you'll be able to swap all of your assets, or you have possession of, you have custody of, on your phone. It's going to be all KYC'd, unfortunately, but that's the reality of it. That's why it's important to start building networks and communities within Bitcoin where you can go around that old system. So a lot of people think that we're going to get rid of the old system. It's just going to disappear. It's not. It's just going to be on steroids. It's going to be 24/7, tokenized, fractionalized on your phone. And you're going to be able to, whatever you want to buy, whatever that retailer accepts for payment, you're going to be able to pay them in that. And if you don't have it on your phone, you're going to be able to swap it into that at the counter. So let's say you keep majority of it. Like I said, there you got Bitcoin, stablecoin, shares in a building in Dubai, MicroStrategy shares. But let's say the retailer, let's say you go to a restaurant and they only accept Dogecoin. So while you're eating your meal, you see that they only accept Doge. Maybe it's like a Doge themed restaurant, or maybe they just like the community. And then you just swap it, swap some Bitcoin for Doge, pay your bill. So, I mean, just with all that in mind, that just understand that there's going to be a lot of these things that exist. You might even own like a Joe Rogan token in there that you can swap and pay for your meal. So there's going to be a ton of these different things. All of these tokens are going to exist, but the best place to store that over time is going to be in Bitcoin. And then when you need these other altcoins, when you need this form of payment, that's when you swap it at that time. But the best place during that process to store your wealth will be in Bitcoin. And hopefully the majority is actually kept in cold storage with your own UTXOs, which most people won't have at that time, but you're here now, so you will. So then you can just send it to your wallet if you need to. If you're out of Bitcoin, you just send it from your cold storage to your wallet, and that's how you pay for stuff. So this is just one of the first steps in that process, but it's just going to keep piling up.